Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Habits, Manual Automation and Performance Testing. So last class we discussed about non-functional requirements. So we talked about overall what are the non-functional requirements we need to gather as a part of performance testing, right? So we have discussed all about it. And in today's class I am going to talk about the performance testing life cycle. Okay, so let's start with the performance testing life cycle. So what do you mean by performance testing life cycle? Basically, right? So performance testing life cycle is nothing but is a systematic process to carry out non-functional testing of a software system or application, right? So if I want to start anything, so we should have some process, right? Should we follow some guidelines basically, right? So similarly every technology, right, it could be in the development or it could be a testing, right? We do have a separate testing life cycles or a development life cycle, SDLC, right? And similarly we do have in performance testing life cycle like a PTLC. So it's a systematic process, right, to carry out the non-functional testing of the software or the application. Okay, so to follow that, what are the different kind of the areas we cross around it, right? So what are the different kind of the methodologies what we follow as a part of it? If you see in the diagram I just shown it, so there are a couple of things. So it starts with the first one is risk assessment. Okay, so it starts here, risk assessment. So this is the starting point. Okay, then followed by non-functional requirements which we already discussed about it. Then test planning, test scripting, scenario design or WLM workload model, system run and results analysis, reporting if there is any issues, RCA rerun test. Then again it come back to the risk assessment. So this starts here, this ends here basically. Okay, so I will just talk about high level what is all these different phases actually, and what is the importance of each phase and what we are going to do it in each phase. Okay, so the first one is risk assessment. Okay, so risk assessment is nothing but to check the eligibility of the components for the performance system. Okay, so performance testing, first what we need to do, we need to understand the system. So what are the eligible for performance testing, right? So there could be sometimes what happens, the application can have a third party services, right? Third party applications also integrated with your application. Say it's issued a third party application and you are not the responsible for that, right? So we have to be very clear understanding on that. What are the components comes under the performance testing, right? So that is very, very important. Okay, so this is the one thing what normally we need to do before kicking off this project also. We need to understand the system initially. Okay, then next what we do, requirements gathering. So as I mentioned earlier, we need to understand all the client expectations basically, right? So how much load he is expecting, how much the types of tests, what are the types of tests he is looking into, what type of scenarios are be a part of your NFR document, right? So we need to understand all end-to-end information about the requirements gathering. The next one is test planning, right? So to prepare the test strategy as per non-functional requirements. So here whatever the requirements we gathered as a part of performance testing has to be documented. So today I said, okay boss, the client will say that we need to go for okay, he will agree for okay over the phone or over the discussion saying that we need to go with the load and endurance test. But in the middle of them he said that, oh no, I committed for in stress test also, spike test also, you have to do all these tests, right? So the test what we have committed and the whatever the requirements we have gathered should be matched and should be documented to get a sign off from the client before kicking up before starting the performance test. Okay, that is very, very important. So we need to say what are the commitments we have done from our end and whatever he has given the requirements, right? So it has to be matched somewhere, right? That is where we prepare test planning basically. So there is a test planning document I will discuss about in detail level in the different session. So in the test planning what we do is, so what is the application basically, right? So the risk assessment about what we have done, right, it has to be included. So this is the components are going to for the performance testing. So the objective is this is what, so we are going to run with 300 user load or 500 user load should support by the application with these kind of scenarios, right? So similarly we'll get the test schedule, these many days we are committing for the scripting, right? There are different phases here. If you see scripting, scenario designs, executions, right? So when we are doing that, when it's going to end, tentative date, or it could be like what are the dependencies, what are the risks and basically, right? And environment setup, who is going to do it, right? What tool license, who is going to buy it, right? So everything has to be mentioned in the test planning in detail level. Then we need to get a sign up from the customer so that we can go start with our actual activities. Okay, so that is the one thing. Next one is performance scripting, right? So say test scripting. The test scripting, what we do, we create the test scripts as per the approved performance test plan. So whatever the scenarios we have decided for the performance testing, whatever the functionalities we have decided for the performance testing, we start with the test scripting basically. So how we do the test scriptings basically, right? So test scripting, how we do, by using the decided tool, right? You can decide some tools, so based on that tool, by using that, we develop the scripts basically. Okay, and the next one is scenario design or workload modeling, right? So whatever the load you are planning to run, and whatever the scenario you are planning to do, and whatever a distribution, right? I have 5 scenarios. Example I told you earlier, right? Banking up, balance check, fund transfer, bill pay, right? If you see here, we have these many scenarios, 300 is load expecting, and the distribution will be like this, right? So similarly, we have to design this design pattern to run the test, right? So that is called designing a scenario. So as per this workload model, we'll design the scenario in a tool and we run the test basically, right? So before doing the test, we have to design as per the requirements, right? So that is called test design and workload model analysis there. Next one, run the test, right? Obviously, like once we have everything ready, once we prepare the test data, once you have the scenarios, once you have the virtual users, and you have designed the scenario in the tool, then we'll start with the run basically, and we take the reports, right? And we do the analysis and we prepare in detail level report. And if we identify any bugs or issues, that terminology we call it as a function testing. It is basically bugs or terminologies, we call it as in function testing. But when it comes to performance testing, we call them as a bottlenecks. Okay, so we call them as a bottlenecks. So what do you mean by bottleneck? So bottleneck can be anything. So the bottleneck basically, it could be, so the time is taking to load a particular page might be taking more time, or the number of users when you run it, your CPU or memory at the server level is going up, or you are seeing some memory issues, or you can see some database issues, right? So it can be anything. So it's not like particular thing, so it could be anything. So we need to understand that what could be the root cause for taking more time to load this page, or taking more memory, or it could be taking more analysis, right? So it is taking to submit a record is taking more time, or loading a search results is taking more time. Whatever it is scenario, we need to clearly understand that what could be the root cause for this particular thing. So based on that, we rerun the test and we see that whatever the fixes we have made with the development team, is it fixed or not, or it may go worst or it may go improve, right? It may improve or it may go worst also. So we need to rerun the test and reconfirm that. Once it is done, we are going to end the testing over here. So it starts with the risk assessment, then it will go to all these phases, and it will come to here, it will end over here with the RCA rerun, and we close the testing activities over here. So this is all about the performance testing life cycle. So okay, what are the different phases we have in the performance test life cycle? What is important of each performance test life cycle, and where it starts and where it ends. Okay, so I'll talk about in detail level again. As I mentioned already, NFRs we already discussed, but test planning, test scripting. So on the practical basis, right, when you start the performance testing activities with the tool level also, I'll talk about each phase again and in the detail level at that point of time as well. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel and please put your comments and support me. Thank you. Bye.